What's up, NZers?
Hi!
And welcome back to another family reaction video. This time we're going to be checking out something that we haven't checked out a military vehicle in quite a while now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, we're back into the military vehicles, and this one is the AH-64 Apache attack helicopter.
Okay.
Wow. So this one's this video is the monstrous power and capability of the helicopter. So let's check it out.
Yeah.
Whoa. What's that thing on top?
Yeah.
Oh, some of them have it, some of them don't.
They look like mosquitoes.
Oh yeah.
Real sleek.
The Apache helicopter is a revolutionary development in the history of war. It's essentially a flying tank, a helicopter designed to survive heavy attack and inflict massive damage. It can zero in on specific targets, day or night, even in terrible weather. As you might expect, it is
Why
a
is the rotor
terrifying
like
machine
that?
to ground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Wow. That's on a real aggressive angle. Maybe it helps it fly
Faster?
faster going forward.
Yeah.
In this video, we'll look at Apache's amazing flight systems, weapon systems, sensor systems, and armor systems. Individually, these components are remarkable pieces of technology. Combined together, they make up an unbelievable fighting machine, the most lethal helicopter ever created. At its core, an Apache works pretty much the same way as any other helicopter. It has two rotors that spin several blades. A blade is a tilted airfoil, just like an airplane would. As it speeds through the air, each blade generates lift. The main rotor, attached to the top of the helicopter, spins four 20-foot, 6-meter blades. The pilot maneuvers the helicopter by adjusting a swash plate mechanism. The swash plate changes each blade's pitch, tilt, to increase lift. Adjusting the pitch equally for all blades lifts the helicopter straight up and down. Changing the pitch as the blades make their way around the rotation cycle creates uneven lift, causing the helicopter to tilt and fly in a particular direction.
Flying helicopters just seem so complicated.
It does.
Like the slightest little wrong move. Apparently the tiniest little movement makes the whole thing move a lot of...
rotors and blades. As the main rotor spins, it exerts a rotation force on the entire helicopter. The rear rotor blades work against this force. They push the tail boom in the opposite direction. By changing the pitch of the rear
that's
blades,
why they're there.
the pilot can rotate the helicopter in either direction or keep it from turning at all. An Apache has double tail rotors, each with two blades. The newest Apache sports twin General Electric T700 GE701C turboshaft engines, boasting about 1,700 horsepower each. Each engine turns a drive shaft, which is connected to a simple gearbox. The gearbox shifts the angle of rotation about 90 degrees and passes the power onto the transmission. The transmission transmits the power to the main rotor assembly and a long shaft leading to the tail rotor. The rotor is optimized to provide much greater agility than you find in a typical helicopter. The core structure of each blade consists of 5 stainless steel arms, called spars, which are surrounded by a fiberglass skeleton. The trailing edge of each blade is covered with a sturdy graphite composite material, while the leading edge is made of titanium. The titanium is strong enough to withstand brushes with trees and other minor obstacles, which is helpful in the nap of the earth flying, zipping along just above the contours of the ground. Apaches need to fly this way to sneak up on targets and to avoid attack.
Whoa.
The rear tail wing helps stabilize the helicopter during nap of the earth
Are those
flight,
little batteries
as well as during hovering. You could say, based on all this information, that the Apache is just a high-end helicopter. As we'll see in the next few sections, the Apache's advanced weaponry puts it in an entirely different class. Apache HELLFIRE missiles.
Whoa.
The Apache's chief function is to take out heavily armored ground
No
targets,
wonder they
such
call
as
it the
tanks
Hellfire.
and bunkers.
No more truck.
To inflict this kind of damage, you need some heavy firepower. And to do it from a helicopter, you need an extremely sophisticated targeting system. The Apache's primary weapon, the HELLFIRE missile, meets these demands. Each missile is a miniature aircraft, complete with its own guidance computer, steering control, and propulsion system. The payload is a high-explosive, copper-lined charged warhead, powerful enough to burn through the heaviest tank armor in existence. The Apache carries the missiles on 4 firing rails attached to pylons mounted to its wings. There are 2 pylons on each wing, and each pylon can support 4 missiles. So the Apache can carry as many as 16
and that just blows up. All that
missiles
technology just blows up.
Before launching, each missile receives instructions directly from the helicopter's computer. When the computer transmits the fire signal, the missile sets off the propellant. Once the burning propellant generates about 500 pounds of force, the missile breaks free of the rail. As the missile speeds up, the force of acceleration triggers the arming mechanism. When the missile makes contact with the target, an impact sensor sets off the warhead. The original HELLFIRE design uses a laser guidance system to hit its mark. In this system, the Apache gunner aims a high-intensity laser beam at the target. In some situations, ground forces might operate the laser instead. The laser pulses on and off in a particular coded pattern. Before giving the firing signal, the Apache computer tells the missile's control system the specific pulse pattern of the laser. The missile has a laser seeker on its nose that detects the laser light reflecting off the target. In this way, the missile can see where the target is. The guidance system calculates which way the missile needs to turn in order to head straight for the reflected laser light. To change course, the guidance system moves the missile's flight fins. This is basically the same way an airplane steers. The laser-guided HELLFIRE system is highly effective, but it has some significant drawbacks. Cloud cover or obstacles can block the laser beam, so it never makes it to the target. If the missile passes through a cloud, it can lose sight of the target. The helicopter or a ground targeting crew has to keep the laser fixed on the target until the missile makes contact. This means the helicopter's got to be out in the open, vulnerable to attack. The HELLFIRE 2, used in Apache longbow helicopters, corrects these flaws. Instead of laser-seeking system, the missile has a radar seeker. The helicopter's radar locates the target, and the missiles zero in on it. Since radio waves aren't obscured by clouds or obstacles, the missile is more likely to find its target. Since it doesn't have to keep the laser focused on the target, the helicopter can fire the missile and immediately find cover. We'll look at the Apache's rockets next. Apache rockets and chain gun.
Oh man, the size of those bullets.
Apaches usually fly with 2 Hydra rocket launchers in place of 2 of the HELLFIRE missile sets. Each rocket launcher carries 19 folding fin, 2.75-inch aerial rockets, secured in launching tubes. To fire the rockets, the launcher triggers an igniter at the rear end of the tube. The Apache gunner can fire 1 rocket at a time or launch them in groups. The flight fins unfold to stabilize the rocket once it leaves the launcher. The rockets work with a variety of warhead designs. For example, they might be armed with high-power explosives or just smoke-producing materials. In one configuration, the warhead delivers several submunitions, small bombs that separate from the rocket in the air and fall on targets below. The gunner engages close-range targets with an M230 30mm automatic cannon attached to a turret under the helicopter's nose. The gunner aims the gun using a sophisticated computer system in the cockpit. The computer controls hydraulics that swing the turret from side to side and up and down. The automatic cannon is a chain gun design powered by an electric motor. The motor rotates the chain, which slides the bolt assembly back and forth to load, fire, extract, and eject cartridges. This is different from an ordinary machine gun, which uses the force of the cartridge explosion or flying bullet to move the bolt. The cartridge travels from a magazine above the gun down a feed chute to the chamber. The magazine holds a maximum of 1,200 rounds, and the gun can fire 600 to 650 rounds a minute. The cannon fires high explosive rounds designed to pierce light armor. In the next section, we'll look at the targeting system for the cannon, as well as other major Apache controls. Apache controls. The Apache cockpit is divided into 2 sections, one directly behind the other. The pilots sit in the rear section, and the co-pilot gunner sits in the front section. As you might expect, the pilot maneuvers the helicopter, and the gunner aims and fires the weapons. Both sections of the cockpit include flight and firing controls in case one pilot needs to take over
Who would
full
you rather be?
operation. The pilot
person
flies
who
the Apache
shoots the
using
guns.
collective and
Sorry.
cyclic controls.
I don't want to be
Similar to what
responsible
you
for
find in
controlling
any other
it.
helicopter. The controls
Flying
manipulate the rotors
backwards would
using
be
both a
very
mechanical
hard.
hydraulic system and a digital stabilization system. The digital stabilization system fine-tunes the powerful hydraulic system to keep the helicopter flying smoothly. The stabilization system can also keep the helicopter in an automatic hovering position for short periods of time. On the Longbow Apache, 3 display panels provide the pilot with most navigational and flight information. These digital displays are much easier to read than traditional instrument dials. The pilot simply presses buttons on the side of the display to find the information he or she
Well, they
needs.
know something's coming.
We'll look at the Apache sensor equipment next. Apache sensors. One of the coolest things about the Apache is its sophisticated sensor equipment. The Longbow Apache detects surrounding ground forces,
Is this
aircraft,
everything that's
and
on the
buildings
nose?
using a radar dome mounted to the mast. The radar dome uses millimeter radio waves that can make out the shape of anything in range. The radar signal
Whoa.
processor compares these shapes to a database of tanks, trucks, other aircraft, and equipment to identify the class of each potential target. The computer pinpoints these targets on the pilot's and gunner's displays. The pilot
He
and
looks
the
young.
gunner
Yeah.
both use night vision sensors for night operations. The night vision sensors work on the forward-looking infrared FLIR system, which detects the infrared light released by heated objects. The pilot's night vision sensor is attached to a rotating turret on top of the Apache's nose.
So
the
high
gunner's
tech.
night vision sensor is attached to a separate turret on the underside of the nose.
Oh, so that's a radar.
The lower turret also supports a normal video camera and a telescope, which the gunner uses during the day. The computer transmits the night vision or video picture to a small display unit in each pilot's helmet. The video display projects the image onto a monocular lens in front of the pilot's right eye.
Wow.
Infrared sensors in the cockpit track how the pilot positions the helmet and relay this information to the turret control system. Each pilot can aim the sensors by simply moving his or her head.
What? You aim like
Each
that.
pilot can aim the sensors simply
just
by
cough?
moving
Yeah.
his or her head.
Yeah.
He was like,
Manual controls are
and then
also
I lifted
available,
it.
of course. Next, let's look at a few of the systems that protect the pilot and gunner during battle. The Apache's first line of defense against attack is keeping out of range. As we saw earlier, the helicopter is specifically designed to fly low to the ground, hiding behind cover whenever possible. The Apache is also designed to evade enemy radar scanning. If the pilots pick up radar signals with the onboard scanner, they can activate a radar jammer to confuse the enemy. The Apache is also designed to evade heat-seeking missiles by reducing its infrared signature, the heat energy it releases. The black hole infrared suppression system dissipates the heat of the engine exhaust by mixing it with air flowing around the helicopter. The cooled exhaust then passes through a special filter, which absorbs more heat. The Longbow also has an infrared jammer, which generates infrared energy of varying frequencies to confuse heat-seeking missiles. The Apache is heavily armored on all sides. Some areas are also surrounded by Kevlar soft armor for extra protection. The cockpit is protected by layers of reinforced armor and bulletproof glass.
Oh, wow.
According to Boeing, every part of the helicopter can survive 12.7 millimeter rounds, and vital engine and rotor components can withstand 23 millimeter fire. The area surrounding the cockpit is designed to deform during collision, but the cockpit's canopy is extremely rigid. In a crash, the deformation areas work like the crumble zones in a car. They absorb a lot of the impact force, so the collision isn't as hard on the crew. The pilot and gunner seats are outfitted with heavy Kevlar armor, which also absorbs the force of impact. With these advanced systems, the crew has an excellent chance of surviving a crash. Flying an Apache into battle is extremely dangerous, to be sure, but with all its weapons, armor, and sensor equipment, it's a formidable opponent to almost everything else on the battlefield. It's a deadly combination of strength, agility, and firepower.
Wow.
Wow.
It was insane. A helicopter's
Yeah.
such a different beast.
I know. I never think of a helicopter as like a battle
Thing.
kind of like
More like a rescue or like
Yeah.
transportation.
because they're quite loud
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to get quite close.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
just
true.
feel very vulnerable.
Yeah, they're not as maneuverable as jets either.
Yeah.
So they're much slower.
Yeah, much slower, louder, and but I never really realized that they carried so many weapons as well.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, their little wings were just absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
I know.
Not to mention the cannon underneath, but I find it interesting how each of those missiles that they send off to explode is actually packed with so much technology inside of itself, and it just blows up.
I mean, you saw it. It was like the inside of it was like moving. It was like a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I wonder how much like each
crazy.
one of those missiles cost. Anyway, let us know down in the comment section some more stuff that we should check out. I can see here a really cool Ford class aircraft carrier. That looks pretty epic. And also make sure you guys smash the like button if you like that one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And also hit the post notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And also check us out on Instagram.
Yeah, we're over there.
Yeah, we're over there. Atlanta's over there.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. And also, we love you guys and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye!